From Central Indiana's #1 news source, this is Fox 59 Tonight.
Good evening. Thank you for joining us here on Fox 59 Tonight. I'm Cameron Little. We appreciate you downloading our Fox 59 smart TV app. It's called Fox 59 now. If you don't have it, look for that pretty blue logo right there. It's in your app store on your Roku, Fire TV, Samsung TV, and on your... We get them all? Hang on. Roku, Fire TV, Amazon, and Samsung. We got them all.
There you go.
All right, it's 4. Forgot. And then also, if you're watching us on YouTube, make sure you hit the subscribe button so that you never miss any of the conversations that we have every night at 8 o'clock. You know, I think I should just put a strip down here that has all of the platforms that we are on. So I used to have it memorized, but we keep adding. So I keep forgetting. But hey, that is great because that means people are watching the show because we're having some great conversations. A lot of that is due to a little collaboration with Deja Studdard, who's back here on the beginning of the week. So we can go deep diving with Deja into another interesting story about somebody who you should know. And turns out, Deja, I do know her.
Absolutely. There's no one in the city you don't know. I'd be more surprised to hear that than anything else.
Usually somebody's my cousin. And maybe, I don't know, we might be kinfolk now. She could be. She did know my mom. So who we got,
funny.
Deja?
We've got Mavis Washington in the building. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm just doing great. I appreciate you inviting me today and allowing me to talk about something that's really important to me, you and Cameron. So big ups to you guys.
We're going to
Thank
be
you.
talking about ways, and we got to do a lot of cheese in this episode because it stands for Why Aren't You Smiling? And it talks about transforming mental health for children. So tell me more in your own words about ways and what this program is and what it represents.
Okay. So about 2014, my son was arrested for armed robbery in the city. And unbeknownst to me and to my husband, he was struggling with his mental health. So he was out just doing all kind of dangerous activities in the evening and then working a job and going to school in the daytime. And we just figured, he was a normal kid doing normal things. I mean, he went to church, he volunteered in the community, all these positive things, but yet at nighttime, he was doing these negative things. And we found out later after his arrest that he was struggling with his mental health. He started sharing with us just feelings of anxiety, depression, just these risky behaviors that he wanted to involve himself in and how it made him feel better. But then at the same time, he would go in his room and cry. So he was having all these ups and downs. And instead of him sharing those emotions and feelings with my husband and I, he just acted on the negative behaviors. And so that's kind of how our program started, was based on the vision that he had when he approached me about, starting this nonprofit, and just having that willingness to quit my job and do so. So he wanted a safe space for kids where they can express themselves, talk about their feelings and emotions, and just learn how to cope with them in healthy, positive ways as opposed to negative ways like he did. So that's how Why Aren't You Smiling got started. It was my son's vision, who is now serving a 25-year sentence, federal prison for armed robbery.
I didn't know that you quit your job.
Yes.
Like, I didn't know that you quit your job. So how do we move from you having, because a lot of people have nonprofits.
Right.
They might do them, a little bit before or after work or what have you. But you made this decision to go full time with Ways. First, why did you decide to do that?
Well, it took me a couple of years, Deja. 2014, he got arrested. I didn't start Ways until 2016. So for 2 years, he was just, mom, you got to do this. And I'm like, son, this is a full-time job that you're asking me to quit. But this is full-time what you want me to do, because if I'm going to give myself to something, it's going to be, 100%. And mental health is a 100% responsibility for people. You can't just, hey, I'm going to get 50%, 25%. I'm going to do this, from 5 to 7. It's a full-time thing because there's kids out there struggling. So I talked to my husband about it and told him that, this was something that was tugging on my heart. And I just decided to go ahead and quit my job. My husband gave me the go-ahead, said we could do this. So it's really my husband.
And what was your job before?
I was a music teacher at a charter school on the Near East Side.
Okay.
And so the school started in 2010. I was there for 6 years, and then I left. I mean, I did this. And so since 2016, I've been running Why Aren't You Smiling?
When your son was arrested for that robbery, and he's sitting in the jail, and he comes to you with this idea, when was the diagnosis that there's a mental health component to his story?
Okay, I'm glad you asked that, Cameron, because he did so many positive things, and just because of the type of home that he grew up in, I knew something was wrong. Because at first, when he was arrested, I said, of course, it's mistaken identity or racial profiling. I was like, there's no way that this could be my son that did something as negative as this. But after talking and speaking with him over the telephone and some of the things that he started sharing, we pushed for him to get an evaluation. So he was able to get an evaluation through the federal system. And so we found out that he was struggling with bipolar disorder.
Of course, when we do news and the headlines, your son automatically sticks out because the things that you just mentioned, he goes against the stereotypes that he's the mom of a school music teacher, and his mom and dad are together and married. And was there any indication before this, or did this come out of nowhere, to where it was like, oh, this came out of nowhere? Or was it a situation where it was like, oh, now it all makes sense why there's been a pattern of some things the past couple years?
Well, because he came out of high school and went to college for that first year, we didn't notice anything because we weren't around him. And so they say that when a kid or a person has a mental health issue, a lot of times it starts resurfacing or surfacing its ugly head at around the age of 19. So he wasn't around us. But some of the things that he was telling us while he was away, I feel a little sad, or he wasn't going to class. He wanted to quit the track team. Just some things now they're starting to make sense, but they didn't make sense then. And so hindsight is 2020, because there's a lot of children that are struggling, but they're hiding it, or they don't want to talk about it. That's the big problem now, is people just don't want to talk about it. And being a young man, being a man, especially a Black male, they feel weak. Why am I sad? Why am I crying? I don't want to talk about this because people are going to judge me. Just now, in 2025, people are really starting to talk about it and feeling comfortable with just sharing their experiences and their stories and just trying to get help, which is important.
Your son is how old now?
He's 32.
He's 32.
He was 20 at the time when he got arrested.
20 at the time. So 2014, and that was the next point I was going to go to.
Yeah.
It's only up until recently did people, as a general public, start accepting mental health and mental health month and bipolar, especially in the Black community, was not something that we talk about. It was always pray about it.
Pray about it.
Go to church.
Go to church.
And those things would go away. And so
I think it's still a little bit like that.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It is.
For sure.
A lot of people say that.
But the door, especially because of programs like yours, what you're doing, at least continues to open that door and that conversation that this is something that is okay to talk about. Because maybe, I think, only having talked to you for a couple of minutes, I think the point is, had these conversations been had sooner, maybe you guys would have figured out that he had a bipolar disorder, and maybe that wouldn't have contributed to him doing a robbery, and he wouldn't be where he is now.
Exactly. Yeah, that is true. That is true, because we would have been able to get him some type of therapy, have him talk to somebody, maybe get medicated. I don't know what it would have looked at like, but hopefully,
Differently.
it would have, it would look different. We would have acted on it for sure. So, yeah.
So you started the program
Mm-hmm.
in 2016.
16. Mm-hmm.
Who does the program serve?
We serve children ages 6 through 19. When I originally started, it was 9 through 19. But then a lot of parents start saying, I have a younger kid, I see some negative behaviors, can they go ahead and join your program? So I lowered the age to 6 years old. So 6 through 19. So a kid can be in our program from the age of 6 all the way till they finish high school. And so that's the beauty of it, because when I first thought about it, I said a couple of years, that's all you need, 2 years. But your mental health issues don't go away in 2 years. I mean, a lot of times kids don't start struggling until they're teenagers. So if we start mentoring them at this early age and start giving them positive outlets and different ways to cope, organic things that we do with them, they can figure out things on their own once they get 19 and say, okay, this is why I'm this way. Let me get some help. And a lot of them are seeing therapists now. And we don't consider ourselves therapists. We're just a complement to what therapists do. All the different organic experiences that we have with the kids are like music, yoga, dance, all these things have been proven to help with a lot of negative behaviors. They bring out these happy endorphins and help you to be able to creatively express yourself in a positive way.
So take me through some of those organic experiences that you were talking about, and that I believe it may be called Connect.
Yeah, Connect. Connect is like our yoga, our dance, our photography, our podcast program. That's our Connect program. So we do have 4 major components. You mentioned Connect, so I'll just go ahead and say that. So we have Expression, where the kids sit around, do peer support activities. They talk about their feelings, they share their experiences or just what they go through on a daily basis at school, at home. They're able to just feel comfortable with one another. They feel safe in that space. Nobody shares anything with anybody else outside of that group. So everybody feels supported by their peers, and that's called Expression. And we also have a journal piece with that. So every kid gets a journal when they join the program, and they're asked to, put their thoughts down in that journal as often as possible. Don't put it on social media, because we know everything goes. Oh my goodness, yes. But yes, Expression. That's Expression. Then we have Connect, like we mentioned earlier, with the yoga, the dance, the art, music, and then Project Help. Project Help is when we go out into the community and we do service projects. So we've worked with Wheeler Mission and helped the homeless population. We've done literacy activities with kids at school, neighborhood cleanups. We do that locally and globally because the kids take a trip every year. And so wherever we go, I think we went to Costa Rica this summer.
Oh, wow.
We partnered with a school over there in Costa Rica, took them school supplies, clothing, just all different types of things, and worked with the kids at the school in Costa Rica. So locally and globally, we do community service. And then our last one is called Harakati, which means movement in Swahili. And so we have a Taekwondo instructor who comes and works with our younger kids. And then we have Mr. Roger from Canal Squad Indy. He comes out and does all types of exercise with the kids. So all of these things have been proven to help with your mental health.
As you're talking, I pulled your website up when we were going through the web pages as you were talking. The website is wayswesmile.org. There it is, right there. You could Google "Why Aren't You Smiling" to find the website, and then you also have a Facebook page as well.
And Instagram.
And you're everywhere. You're everywhere. As you're talking, I want to share with people, like, if they are like, okay, one, I want to get involved with this program, or I want to volunteer with this program, or if I want to donate to this program, any of those things, how can they do that while we're still talking?
Well, if they want to volunteer, they can email me at Mavis, Mavis, at wayswesmile.org. And then I could talk to them about how that looks, because we have to go through a background check, that type of thing. And donating, they can go right to the website. We have a donate page. Or if they want to get their child involved, they can email me as well, mavis@wayswesmile.org, and I can let them know how they can get involved with our program. And like I say, 6 through 19, I don't like to take them at 19 because that's kind of like late, but high schoolers, I'll still take them. And we definitely need some boys and girls, because I want to help as many kids as I possibly can.
Okay. Yeah, that's amazing. So you mentioned a lot of things that you all do. I didn't know you guys are going international.
Oh yeah.
You're journaling, you have a lot of different things. So first, I want to ask, what is the importance of journaling?
Well, like I mentioned before, kids, and not just kids, adults are just putting everything out there on social media, things that they soon regret, because you have employers, you have colleges, and things like that see these things. The social media is starting to just, ooh, wow. I don't like it. I don't like it for my kids. So I say, anytime you feel a certain way, good, bad, or ugly, just put it in your journal. Express all these things in your journal, because that gives you a peace. It gives you a satisfaction. Even if you're using words that are not appropriate for the internet, you can put it in their journal because nobody sees it but you. But you were able to get that out. You're able to express yourself. That's emotional resilience, and that's what people need. And so journaling is very important for that.
So you mentioned journaling, you mentioned exercise, you mentioned volunteering in different places. What does somebody wants to join? What does it look like when they join the first day?
Okay, so when they join the first day, they'll just become a part of a group that looks like a lot is going on, because in our 3-hour meetings, we start off with an affirmation, because I believe that people should, speak positively to themselves every day. So we start off with affirmations, and we have like a little social piece where they play games together. They do that for about 30 minutes. And then we have a lesson. It might be art that day. It could be STEM. I'm telling you, we do a lot of different things. I don't even want to go through everything that we do. We do so many things because I'm trying to build these kids up for the future. I want them to know that there's so many different ways that they can become positive influences in the community. They can do anything that they put their mind to do. So I'm just introducing them to everything. I mean, we've covered financial literacy. We'll be doing that again next year, even bigger, with our entrepreneur program. A couple of years ago, I taught the kids how to write a business plan. Then they developed a product or a service, and then they presented that at our annual fundraiser, their product, their service on stage, like a kind of like a Shark Tank type of thing. And then I had a couple of kids that are still doing it. They're like, okay, I did candle making. It wasn't real, but I'm going to make it real. So they're making money through that process. So I'm just trying to give them just several ways to just become global citizens. Like I said, I take them out of the country. I want them to know that anything is possible, and that giving back when you go to those places, and even in our city, is what's going to make you a well-rounded individual.
I didn't take my first financial literacy class until college. So the fact that you're doing it, before they're even out of high school is great.
I needed someone to tell me to not spend some money on a credit card.
Oh, now that is So
I'm paying for it.
Right. So I'm excited because Old National Bank is partnering with us, and they're going to come out and do the financial literacy piece for us next year.
So I got 2 questions for you. First, when you talk about the social media, how do you explain to them that not everything needs to go on social media? I personally don't post a lot of things because I know so many people that people will think I'm talking about them. It's like, I'm not even talking about you.
I'm not even talking about you.
So I just leave it off. But for a lot of people, that is their way to vent. They want to share. Sometimes they're oversharing. But then also people can use something that you put out there harmlessly. People can take out of context and say, oh, I saw what you posted, such and such and such. How do you explain that to them?
Just like you just said it.
Okay.
I don't sugarcoat with the kids, because somebody has to be real with them. Just like you just said, sometimes oversharing. And You might say, well, what's oversharing, Miss Mavis? Oversharing is telling somebody something that you wouldn't even go tell your own mama.
Mm-hmm.
If you wouldn't go tell your mother what you're posting, then that's oversharing. That's the way I look at it. Are you comfortable with sharing something on your page but not sharing it with your parents? That's oversharing. If you think that it's going to prevent you from getting a job because you appear negative, that's oversharing. Do you think the college is going to turn down that application because they say this is a troublemaker right here? Look at what they're sharing on social media. That's oversharing. So I just give it to them. If you want to be some kind of success in life, and success doesn't always mean your job, it can just mean you as a whole individual. There's certain things that you need to, maybe put in the paper. Like I said, put it in your journal and then talk to your therapist about it, talk to your parents about it. But the world doesn't have your back. You think they have your back, just like you said. People are like, hey, he's talking about me. Hey, she's talking about me. They might not be talking about you. That's why you shouldn't have put it out there.
With the limited hours in the day, you got kids at school and they're doing after school. When do you get a chance to be with them?
Well, on Tuesdays, I'm with my younger kids for a couple hours. And then on Saturdays, I'm with my older kids for a few hours.
So is that after school on Tuesday?
So after school on Tuesdays and on Saturdays in the morning.
And so where do you guys meet?
We meet at a church on Martin Luther King downtown.
Okay.
It's an Episcopal church. So we meet out of that church.
Okay.
And then we do community service activities whenever I schedule them. So they could be on an off week, or we might have an art project. Like I took them to do a pottery wheel class. So that might be on another day of the week that's not on that Saturday or that Tuesday. So it just depends on, how I schedule things.
Okay.
Yeah.
And when can you take some more?
I can take some more now.
Okay. Okay. Because how many do you have?
Right now I have 30 students that I'm working with.
Okay.
But I'm always welcoming kids, because anybody that wants to take control of their mental health, well, by golly, Miss Mavis is here to help them do it. Yeah.
One thing that I hear is that you have a lot of space, to me, for volunteers.
Yes.
Can anybody volunteer? If they have, like, say, for example, hey, I got kids, I want to tell you about journalism and what that looks like. Do you do programs like that, or
Yes.
in some capacity?
Yes.
Because I know that sometimes, when it comes to volunteering, people think that, it has to be long, or has to be drawn out, or it has to be something that is, expansive. So anybody can come in and share, as long as they cross the, with you, and share about their job and their livelihood and what they're doing.
I'm really excited to have somebody come and talk about their careers, because like next year we're focusing on financial literacy and entrepreneurship. So that also comes with, almost like a career day. I don't know if you guys had career days when you were little kids, but I did when I was younger. And people would come and talk about their jobs and just, what it entails. And so we're going to be doing that same thing next year. And it doesn't even have to be on a formal basis. If somebody says, hey, I want to come in and talk to your kids about photography, then they can do that. Because that's how I got one of my lead. I'm calling him my lead volunteer, because he was a model, or he still is a model. And he was friends with my son in college. And he said, I want to come work with your program. I want to teach your kids how to do photography. And so he's been doing that for the past 6 years. And he started a podcast with them this year. So they've got a podcast called Tough Teen Talks. And so we do one monthly segment with him. So and that started from a volunteer. So it's been a great experience with some of my volunteers, like the exercise coordinator volunteer. So
yeah. So your organization has been going on for quite a while now. We're coming up on, I think, a 10-year anniversary.
Yes, next June.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Are you gonna do anything for
Hang on,
it?
I got an applause sound effect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my
Applause.
God.
Okay. Yes. Oh, yes. I
There you
love
go.
it. I love it. Yes.
Cameron, the producer.
Thanks, Cameron.
You're welcome.
I'm not sure what we're going to do. I hadn't really thought about it, but I am going to celebrate, because 10 years in the game with children is a lot. Believe me, but I mean, it's been
10
a
years
blessing
of dealing
for
with
me.
other people's kids.
Other people's kids.
God bless you.
Yes, it's been a blessing. I mean, it's actually very healing for myself and for my husband because we've taken the lemons that our son had, and even himself, he's made lemonade out of those lemons. He's done a great thing by coming up with this program and forcing his mom to start it. I say he forced me, and I'm so glad.
Yeah. What are some of the greatest moments that you've had through this time, or one great thing that you're like, wow, this was really an amazing thing, and this was why we started this?
To see one of my first participants that started in 2016, she was my poster child, graduate with her master's degree a few months ago in education, and she's now teaching in Tennessee. That was a big moment for me, because I saw the struggles. I saw some of the challenges and the things that she went through, and just to see her walk across that stage, and we do vision boards, and this was on her vision board. I want to go to HBCU. I want to major in education. Then I want to get my master's, and I want to teach. And she did everything that was on her vision board. Wow. I mean, that was a big moment for me as a mentor, to see a child just, carry out that vision and work on their mental health through all the natural processes that we learned in Why Aren't You Smiling, and just carry those through with her. And she's doing amazing today.
Yeah, well, congratulations on that.
Yeah, thank you.
Tell us about your fundraiser.
Okay. Well, next month, November 23rd, at the Crane Bay Event Center, we're having our annual fundraiser. It's called Art of Our Mind, kind of like a play on Out of Our Mind, because everything is about art. This year, we really focused on healing through art and just how that looks and how that makes you feel. So we've got some pottery, fused glass, crochet, paintings, carpentry, just all different types of artistic things, dance. We partnered with Vanessa Owens from Kenyette School of Dance, and so she taught the kids a piece, and so they're going to be performing that at the fundraiser. We have some surprises, so it's just going to be a wonderful event. And if anybody's interested, once again, they could email me at mavis@wayswesmile.org. The tickets are $85. That's a Sunday, and it's from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. It's going to be a wonderful time.
Okay.
Mavis, before we go, I meant to ask you this earlier, but we talk a lot. We've done lots of these shows about kids and violence and things that happen over the summer and mass shootings and this and that, and where the kids should be and where they want to be. And we've, a lot of the kids say, well, nobody ever asked us. Nobody ever talks to us, asks us what we want to do. When you talk to the 30 kids and teenagers that you're with, what do they tell you? Like, how do they respond to your program? What are they telling you that they need?
They just need somebody to listen to them. They need support. They need others around them just to support them, what they're going through, to listen to them, not judge them. That's the biggest piece. That's why a lot of the kids in my program, I try to build that bridge between them and their parents so that they can eventually tell their parents what they're telling me. That's the biggest flex for me, when a kid sits down and they start talking to their parents the same way they talk to me, because that's what I wanted. And I wish I had that with my son. But it's not too late for these other children. So, yeah, that's the biggest thing, is just the support they need and the non-judgment from their parents or whoever it is they're sharing their struggles with. They just want to be heard.
Yeah. How do you stay smiling through all of this? It's a lot when somebody's working with a nonprofit. It never stops. To me, the work never stops, especially when it comes to mental health. Right. So how do you stay smiling?
I stay smiling because I think about all the kids that I'm helping, and just all the kids that are battling something inside, but now they're coming out. When I see the growth and the healing and the smiles and the laughter, I mean, that's how I stay smiling. I mean, I can't stop smiling when I'm around my kids. They make me laugh.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for what you do, Miss Mavis. Appreciate you coming in and telling our story, but also taking what could be a dark moment for you and your family and turning it around and helping other people get to happier times and make good decisions. So it's very important, especially as the kids are saying, hey, nobody's listening. At least they have you.
Right.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
you.
you so much for coming on.
All right. Thank you for having me. I
Absolutely.
appreciate you.
By the way, the website, Ways We Smile, one more time, wayswesmile.org. And you can also find them on Facebook right here. Look at the Facebook page. Why Aren't You Smiling Inc. on Facebook. Deja, another good interview.
Another one.
All right. What are you working on this week?
Well, we got an article coming up for this.
Yes.
Of course.
And you're going to post some viral stories on fox59.com as you always do.
Always.
Okay. All right. Well, check out Deja's work at fox59.com. Check out Miss Mavis at wayswesmile.org. That's going to do it for this edition of Fox 59 Tonight. I'm Cameron Riddle. We thank you for joining us. You can watch me every night here at 8 o'clock. We've got some redistricting news to handle this week. We'll be staying on top of that. And then, of course, the conversation will continue on the weekend on my radio show, Open Lines. That's on 100.9 and 106.7 WTLC. We'll continue conversations like this and so much more throughout the week, every night at 8 o'clock. Good night.